Hey guys, HMK once again, and man, we got a huge new Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer, and it's ready. It's time for the analysis and secrets by HMK. I wanted to make this video yesterday or sooner overall, but I just got back home from a convention, and they dropped the trailer while I was away on Saturday during the Xbox Mexico event, but I was still able to react to it and stuff. But now I'm back in the driver's seat, so let's get right into it. Oh my goodness. So, moving forward on the alcohol reference thing, here we have that familiar scene where they lit off the candles and you know, lanterns, I would say, in Tangled. And if you guys watched the Tangled movie, of course, this was done in order to help the princess who was lost all those years ago, who is Rapunzel, help find her way home. And this is a festival that everyone partakes in, and Rapunzel did see it from her house, her castle, her lighthouse, or let down your long hair, and she always wanted to be a part of it. And like, oh, the princess is missing. And of course, this is the scene where Flynn and Rapunzel have that little heart-to-heart where it's like, oh, you know what I mean. And of course, we have the satchel, which means that the crown is in that satchel, because this is the point in the movie where she tries to give it back, but then Flynn's like, nah, I'm really, I'm feeling you, Rapunzel, I'm changing for the better, I want to be with you, all that, riches and stuff like that, all that grandeur, it's gone. And then you see little Pascal the lizard in the background, like, that's nice. All right, so this is where they're having that hard to say. And then a lot of people did comparisons between this and the actual movie screenshots, and I have to say the Square Enix and Kingdom Hearts team did a really good job in recreating it. It's not one-to-one, but I mean, of course, there's no way to get that one-to-one given the technology we have in gaming right now to actually have this, because I don't think this is pre-rendered. I think this is actually like in-game running engine going. And then, of course, Sora, Donald, and Goofy, they don't want to be in the way of love, so they stay back at the pier, because they're off in a boat out on the sea releasing the lanterns or whatnot. And then Sora, Donald, and Goofy are just hanging back, just looking out the lanterns. It's like, wow, it looks so magical. It's like the stars in the sky, and every star is a world. And kind of like, of course, we already knew about this, but check out the soles in Sora's boots. Like, I love how we actually have those crown designs in the sole of his shoes. That's good. And then here we have it, finally we have confirmation of Winnie the Pooh returning in Kingdom Hearts. And of course, this to me alludes that either one or two things of how we get to the Winnie the Pooh world. One is that Radiant Garden was once again confirmed, and we have to go back to Merlin's house to enter the book once again. Or the book might be moved to Yen Sid's tower, because Yen Sid and the other magical entities, Merlin, Fairy Godmother, and the three good fairies, they all hang out there in order to train or, have a good sense of the magical stuff going on in the worlds of Kingdom Hearts. And then here Winnie the Pooh is like, I wish for us to be together forever, and it's so adorable. And I gotta say, this art style that they're doing for this book, the 100 Acre Wood specifically, looks really good. I said this earlier in a tweet, and I don't mean this in a bad way whatsoever, but this looks like a 3DS game, specifically Super Smash Bros. For 3DS, where they have the nice little outline and they have the washed down colors and stuff like that. And of course, this is still HD, and I feel like this is perfect, and I love this type of art style. And Kingdom Hearts 3 is really going in with the different types of art styles and whatnot. So I'm really glad they're doing various things. And he's like, I'll be here from now on, and he points at his chest, and Winnie the Pooh just looking like, oh, it's so adorable. Oh my goodness, let's go. And now we have to, ladies and gentlemen, we need to talk about this scene. All right. Oh, whoa, back it up. All right, so we're going forward into the scene where it shows Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, and he looks mad. He looks pissed. Here we have Hayner and Pence, and I wanted to assume that Pence was just like frozen in place, but now you can obviously see Pence blinking, so like he's just standing there. I want to assume that he's gonna be a little bit more, and I'm using air quotation marks, he's gonna be a little bit more animated in the scene, only because of what we see later. Hayner shows up, and then he yells like, "Hey, loser!" And this man has the gall, the cojones to try and run up on Ansem. And then here, look, Pence is still like, Pence is just standing there. I would say like either Pence needs to stop smiling, look mad, or look intimidated, scared by Ansem, because Ansem is no joke. And like, this man literally has shown the ability to warp reality in various Kingdom Hearts games, specifically Dream Drop Distance in Kingdom Hearts 1. And Hayner, this man, like a boss, like, "Hey, loser!" jumps up, and look how cinematic that looks. He jumps up, going for that. I'm sorry. That channeling Bruce Lee karate kick. and he is going for the head. Look at that. Like, he is going for this. And if you guys follow Twitter or Facebook, you already know that this has been memed to hell and back. Like, oh my, Hayner is literally trying it. Look, like, he is going in, man. This man is wild. He's like, hey, loser. He goes for it, man. I'm like, give this man a Keyblade, please. He deserves it after this. Like, Ansem, this man who can literally channel Guardian and warp reality and smoke people in the power of the dark, and Hayner's literally about to try and kick him in the back of the head. Now, I feel two things are the most plausible that's going to happen right after this scene is that, one, Ansem turns around, either swats him, grabs him by the leg, and throws him away or something like that, because this is Disney Square. I don't think that, you know, Ansem's really going to, like, bludgeon his head in after that or something like that. So, that is one thing that's going to happen. Or two, Ansem uses the power of darkness to turn intangible, and Hayner goes through him, and he falls on his ass. So that's one of two things that can happen from this scene. But I just gotta give Hayner just earned so many cool points in my book, because for the longest he was just there in the Kingdom Hearts series. But this man is trying to karate kick. Oh my, Nomura, what are you doing to me? Like, this man. Okay, now we're off to Demyx and Vexen. And this is obviously Radiant Garden, because we can tell by the architecture and the walls and the floor and stuff like that. And here, Demyx is like, I'm useless, I'm chicken. And of course, the way he's doing it, he's paraphrasing others who've constantly made fun of him in the organization. And Demyx was the butt of many of their jokes. They really sandbagged this dude to hell and back. And even Sora was getting in on it, because I'm like, yo, how did the organization get a wimp like you? But I mean, if Xehanort chose him, and people are saying like, of course, if you have nobody in a human form like this, you have to have a strong will and a strong heart, and you have to have powerful. And of course, if you played those data battles with Demyx, he is no joke. So he's like, I'm useless, I'm chicken. And of course, we can see finally a good shot of his eyes being yellow. So yes, Demyx got Norted. And I really want to know, I'm so interested and curious on why Xehanort specifically chose him out of everyone to come back. I know Demyx is a fan favorite, and I understand that. I'm definitely not, taking any points away from Demyx, but he was more of a scout than anything in the organization. And I really want to know Xehanort's reason, and I hope he gives reasoning for choosing each specific member of the new organization in order to Nort them to become a Seeker of Darkness. So he's like, we're not friends. I can count the number of times we hung out on one hand. I'm like, yo, Demyx is savage. And can I appreciate how much Demyx is animated in this scene? Like, his eyes, his eyebrows going in and out and stuff. Like, Demyx really has that huge, abundant personality. I mean, like, look at that. It's like, oh my goodness, why does this keep happening to me? Alright, so he's like, I'm useless, I'm chicken. We're not friends. And I feel that, especially the way Demyx went out at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2, where, for the most part, he looked like he was kind of like, chicken. I wouldn't want to say chicken, but like kind of inept. He wasn't really attuned to fighting. And at that point, I feel like he reached his breaking point after Sora decided to make fun of him, and he's like, silence, traitor. And then he went in and he fought like Sora to his last dying breath. It's like, no way, when he died. So I feel that at that point he broke out of his shell completely, and he was like really done with everyone's crap. So this in Kingdom Hearts 3, I feel that it's gonna keep going like that. It's gonna continue that arc, that Demyx arc, where he's pretty much done with taking everyone's. Hey, listen, Xehanort chose me. I'm a Nort. I'm a Seeker of Darkness. Show me some respect, kind of deal. So I really get that feeling. I get that radiance off of Demyx right now. Like, he's just standing up to Vexen, and Vexen is definitely one of those people from Chain Memories who's like, hey man, I'm number 4 and you're number blah blah blah. Show me some respect. And then people had to put him in his place, and now finally it's Demyx's turn. So I'm glad for that. So yeah, here we have the next big shot of Sora and a nice surreal sky, sea, cloud background talking to a Chirithy. I say Chirithy because Kingdom Hearts Key CHI starts with, but apparently it's pronounced Chirithy, Chirithy, whatever. So he's talking to a Chirithy, and I have a huge theory that links to another perspective that we see in this trailer of what is going on here specifically. But here he says that, I'll be sure to visit you again, and then Chirithy's like, what? It's like, we're friends now. So those who have not really dive deep into Union Cross, Kingdom Hearts Key back cover. It's finally time, because when I was reading up on the press release that was given to us by Square Enix, they made sure to let us know that here Chirithy showing up in the trailer is actually a big deal. There's like, oh, for the first time you see Chirithy outside of the Union Cross games, and Kingdom Hearts Key back cover out of 2.8, this is a big deal. So he's talking with Chirithy, and Chirithy's like, what? And Chirithy still as adorable as it is from Kingdom Hearts Key back cover, so I'm glad. But I have a huge theory coming out, and hopefully I will get it out today after this analysis secrets. But here we have a big famous scene from Kingdom Hearts Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, where it shows Davy Jones and Jack fighting over the dead man's chest. And he's like, the chest, hand it over. And of course, this is the scene where like the Maelstrom has already happened, Calypso is already released and stuff. And I gotta say, whoever is voicing Davy Jones, if it's not the original voice actor or the original actor from Pirates of the Caribbean, I'm very impressed with his voice work, as I am with Jack, because of course I really don't think that's Johnny Depp, but it's definitely not the same guy who voiced him in Kingdom Hearts 2, but it could be the guy who voiced him in Disney Infinity, which I felt did a better representation of Jack Sparrow, because of course he in Kingdom Hearts 2, the guy who voiced him was like, oh yes, and you know, like he gave the whimsical side of Jack, but he didn't really have the grunge to his voice, and now he does, so I'm glad. Here we have it, finally, our boy, the Dark Baymax that we saw in that one concept art all those years ago in 2015. Now we finally see him in full frontal shot. Well, of course, we saw him in previous trailers. He was out in the background and you were following him, you were tailing him, but now we actually have a good frontal shot of him, and Tadashi, we hear him in English, which is the same voice actor. I'm pretty sure it's Ryan Potter, but it's like, Tadashi wouldn't want a Baymax that would hurt people, and that, oh my, that just gives me chills. And of course, we see the nanobots that make up his right arm that he lost at the end of the Big Hero 6 movie, and they did confirm that this particular world does take place after the movie, so I'm really interested to see how this rolls out. We see the Baymax 2, the second Baymax, Hero and Go-Go off in the background, and then Sora and Baymax are ready to go at it. He's flying off, ready to battle it off. Hero's like, we need to stop him, and then Sora's like, okay. And of course, from the shot here, we see the rest of the members of Big Hero 6 and Keyblade Hero 3. We see Goofy, Donald, and Fred, Wasabi, Honey Lemon, and Go-Go in the background. I don't particularly see Hero. Where did he go? Ooh. Alright, so Hero's not here. Maybe he got taken up by Hero. But of course, we are going to have a what looks to be a mid-air battle, which this looks really good. Interceptor Wing is probably going to be used for the entirety of this fight. And man, look at Dark Baymax's health bar. But when comparing how much damage you do per hit, I feel that it won't be that much of a big deal, considering that he has 10 health bars, including the bar that he has now. But the Baymax Sora combo does do a good chunk every time you hit him. So yeah. And then here we have the mini games. Of course, with 100 Acre Wood coming back, we have mini games here where we have to replace things in the Orchard. I'm pretty sure the Orchard. Yeah, well, this is this is 100 Acre Wood where they spell things wrong. They spell things phonetically. I hope I said it right. Whatever. And we have Rabbit helping out Sora cut up some apples or whatnot, and then it fills up the fruit with that. And then we have the Flower Garden. Yeah, of course you see Flower Garden is spelled wrong because it's spelled whatever. So here we go with more flowers, and the mini games look fun. Of course, I had a blast with the mini games in Kingdom Hearts 2, so I'm very interested in how the puzzles work this way around. Here we have a limit showing between Sora, Donald, Goofy, and Rapunzel and Flynn. And I really wanted to try to see what this limit was going to be like. And of course, people were talking about this earlier, how one of the enemies in the Japanese trailer of the Luca Comic and Games version of the Tangled trailer, it shows enemies with armor, with an armor bar. And I feel that the armor bar is finally, we're going to get actual representation of the invisible bar that certain enemies will have. That was a thing in Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2, that we have an invisible bar that we have to break through in order to get the actual HP bar. So as soon as the armor bar is done, it'll reveal the HP bar. And I feel that with certain situations, the armor bar could replenish, and then you have to take out the armor again in order to, you know, really go in dirty on the HP bar, specifically enemies like Sephiroth in Kingdom Hearts 1, Lingering Will in Kingdom Hearts 2, things like that. So that kind of situation, you have to, you know, bust through the first, you know, chunk of armor, and then after that, then you can really deal some damage. So this limit looks really cool. It shows Flynn and Rapunzel using Rapunzel's hair to, like, you know, wing around Sora, Donald, and Goofy doing the strikes, and it's really pretty. Now, the one thing I want to say here about the new limit between Jack and Sora looks so good. Before I get into that, if you notice here in the HP bars and the MP bars, you can see a difference in color scheme. I don't know if anyone really talked about that before, but of course in a regular world where it shows Sora in his regular costume, it's like nice vibrant colors, a nice blue, a nice real emerald green. But here in a quote-unquote realistic world, you see that the colors take on a more, you know, dried out hue, where the green goes from an emerald green to a nice, like, shady grassy leaf green, and the blue goes from a nice sapphire blue into I would say a charcoal navy. These words, but that's really cool. I feel that, you know, the UI team did a lot of work in order to drop these little subtle changes within the worlds, despite all the worlds, you know, being different in one way or another. But I really like this, and this limit, which is called Never Fear, it shows Jack throwing up a bomb, which turns out to be a lot of bombs, and then you see a rain of bombs, and then Sora and Jack do these spin attacks with their blades that not only cut the enemies but also fling the bombs to the enemies around him. Yo, Donald got bodied. Yo, look at that. Ah! Like, whoa, Donald, chill out. But this limit looks really good. Jack throws up the bombs. Sora and Jack work together to either slash the enemies or hit the bombs to send them off in all these directions. And, you know, it's a good AoE type limit attack that either attacks enemies close by or, you know, makes them try to back up in order to push them away. And it looks really good. Now here we have the honey launcher, which is obviously, and it said in the press release that this is obviously the Keyblade transformation of the honey, I say honey launcher, whatever, the 100-acre wood Keyblade, the Winnie the Pooh Keyblade. And you can see right here, finally, this is the secondary, this is the only other form, despite other than the counter shield, that Sora gets guard form. You can obviously see Sora using guard form. He is in yellow, the diamonds on his pants and stuff. So finally, we have another Keyblade that does that. I was really scared that the counter shield was going to be the only guard form that Sora takes on for that Keyblade, but it looks like the honey launcher or whatever the 100-acre wood Keyblade is going to give him the guard form. So it's going to be a defensive use of Keyblade, even though this finisher attack seems to be very much a very similar to the magic launcher. So it looks like certain limits or certain ending finisher enders will be derived from other Keyblade transformations. So that's something to consider. And here Sora's fighting a bunch of Dusk's nobodies, and that looks really cool. So here we are, and then boom, and then we got all that sticky honey. I'm like, that's, bro, that's nasty. There's a very slow glimpse of, oh, come on. A very slow glimpse of what the Keyblade actually looks like. But, of course, with all of the light and stuff, it's really, really, really hard to see. So here we have it, the big kicker of this mysterious world that Sora is in by himself, running around with a lot of clones for himself, at other people just running around, and Sora's up there on a pillar. I gotta say, it looks beautiful, but it does look like that he's collecting other aspects of himself, and that he is turning more and more blue. You can see that the blue starts at his feet, and he's going more blue as he collects more versions of himself. And then he's diving here, and there's a lot of swords diving. This world looks so beautiful, and this looks like a playground that whenever I get to this mysterious world, which I do have a theory on coming out after this video, whenever this world comes out and whenever I'm here in this world, I'm gonna have a grand time just dropping. Look at that. Oh, dude, this game, Kingdom Hearts 3, let's go. Now, here is the huge kicker, one of the biggest takes of the entire trailer, is that we see a bunch of Heartless falling from, I would say, a giant dark corridor, or a giant dark orb that produces all of these shadows, whatever. So it's like, look at how many there are, and then we see Donald and Goofy looking at all of these Heartless just falling down, and then here we have it, the big kicker. I say that a lot, but this is a huge deal. Kairi and Lee with their Keyblades, and you can see that the brandish animation is, happening where Kairi and Lee take out their Keyblades. Specifically Destiny's Embrace, but Lee's Keyblade still does not have a name yet. Yo, give it a name, let's go. And Lee is still in his organization coat, which, I mean, I guess. But Kairi brandished her Keyblade, and a lot of people have noticed that the way she brandishes her Keyblade is in a similar stance to Sora, and I have a pocket theory about that in a little bit. You know, there's not a lot to go into it, but I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a nice little video going forward. And then here we have Riku and Mickey with their Keyblades, and man, look at all these nobodies and Heartless. Oh my! And you see some dust, you see some flying soldiers, you see the Marluxia nobody in the background. And so Riku already has Braveheart in his hand. You can see from this shot right here, you can see he has Braveheart. And Mickey already, I would say, reclaimed his Keyblade, which we saw that he is wielding on the cover of Kingdom Hearts 3. And then, of course, the, I would say, 7-Eleven version of this Keyblade that's coming out in Japan was called Dusk Till Dawn. So that's the kind of name that's being thrown around with this specific Keyblade, which looks to be a combination of Kingdom Key D and Star Seeker. But for now, we're just going to call it Dusk Till Dawn until we have an official source confirming otherwise. So he gets it back. So they probably gave Aqua the hands, and then, you know, Mickey got his Keyblade back, and they're rushing in to help Sora and Donald and Goofy, and Sora brandishes his Keyblade, and look at all these enemies. This is the Battle of 1,000 Heartless on crack, the Keyblade War preliminary. And here we have some unversed that we saw before in the Monsters Inc. world. So we have to fight Heartless, Nobodies, and Unversed, the three main enemies. Yo, if anyone can see some Dream Eaters up in the background, like, look, Kingdom Hearts 2 did the Battle of 1,000 Heartless. Now it's time to go in a lot harder. And from this perspective where we see Sora, Donald, Goofy calling their weapons, the way, like, you know, the camera pans to Sora's back, it seems that we're just gonna go in and fight these guys. And I really want to see how this is gonna be shown off without it being a little too overwhelming, but we're gonna have to wait and see. Oh my lord. And then here we go, Terra Nort fighting the Lingering Will, saying, "Who are you?" Now, the thing is, Terra Xehanort knew, like from Birth by Sleep, knew who the Lingering Will is. It's like, oh, your body succumbs, your heart succumbs, your body is mine, why does your mind resist? Yada yada, I'm paraphrasing here. But he knows that from then he knew that the Lingering Will was Terra's soul or Terra's mind or whatever. The fact that he say, "Who are you?" it could mean two things. One, they're going along with the fact that Terra Xehanort still has some sort of amnesia going from Birth by Sleep and Dream Job. This is even though Nomura said that alluded that he could be just playing or whatever. Or two, he says that before the dust settles, because if we go forward, that you see it's super dusty and something is blocking his Keyblade, and he could be saying, "Who are you?" And then the dust settles, and then his eyes open up. Oh, it's you! And then Rage Awaken starts blasting, and it's like dun 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 dun, dun, and then they just start fighting. Here we have an arch, you know, a giant building that is rising out of the dirt, out of the land of the Keyblade graveyard. And this is the same type of building structure that we saw Roxas appear in at the end of the TGS trailer. So these are one of the same. So I'm really excited to see what happens. And of course, since it's rising out of the ground, it knocks off a bunch of Keyblades from the Keyblade world that was in the ground. So they're falling to the ground. And here we have it, Xehanort and the 13 Seekers, or I should say Xehanort, the 13 Seekers of Darkness. Here we have them all lined out, and unlike previous versions of the Seekers of Darkness, now we see them all with different body frames, which is a huge deal. Now, a lot of people say that over here in the right hand corner all the way to the end, this is another Seeker of Darkness that has a feminine body structure, because we do know for a fact that Larxene is in, and this no doubt is probably Larxene over here, because if we look at all the others, they don't really have the feminine body structure, the waist type, or the high heel boots that the females of the Organization 13 wear. So that can mean one or two things. One, a lot of people are saying, oh, looks like Aqua will wear the coat. Doubt it. Two, people are saying that Xion eventually did get Norded. Now, that was a big thing going into the pre-TGS trailer, thinking that Xion got Norded, but it turned out to be a form of Riku. But now that we have this, whoever this character is down here, it could mean that Xion did get Norded. And for the first time we did hear Xehanort's new English voice actor. I have a video tackling that whole subject because I know that you guys are really divided on this new English voice actor. I got a whole video addressing that subject that I'll be releasing this week because that one is a doozy. So once again, here we have the entirety of the 13 Secrets of Darkness, where he's like, now forge for me the ultimate key, the Keyblade. And here we have Xehanort once again looking good. Oh my goodness, that Xehanort, my bro, yo, look at the wrinkles in the veins on the top of his head. Yo, we've always had that, but man, oh man, here we have the 12 secrets and this Xehanort just rising up on his own. Boy, oh boy, this is gonna be a doozy. And here we have it, the end of the trailer, Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, I know you guys want me to try and break down who I think these 13 Secrets of Darkness are specifically. I have a whole video. Listen to that because, of course, we're going to have to talk about if that is truly Xion or not. But I can tell you right away that the two right-hand men is obviously Ansem and Xemnas. When you look at Ansem and Xemnas's not battle pose, but how they stand, this is Xemnas because he usually keeps his feet together, and then Ansem usually has the power pose where his feet are, like, you know, wide apart. So there's Ansem, Xemnas, and then Xehanort in the middle. So who the rest of these people are, we're gonna have to really go down and inspect this. One other thing I want to bring up is that these things that are on the archway don't really match up with the color of the stone that the archway is made out of, and I cannot zoom in for the life of me to see what they are. To me, from far away, they kind of look like fossils, and that sounds really, really weird, but I really want to know what these things are, because their color does not match up with the color of the stone of this archway, but it does match up with more of the rock below them over here, so we're gonna have to wait and see. But there you guys have it, the analysis and secrets of the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer that got shown off at the Xbox event, the Winnie the Pooh trailer. It's a big deal. It's a big one. Let me know what you thought about this analysis and share it up with your friends if you learned something new. Also, if you think I missed anything, please leave it in the comment section below, because I love conversing all of this stuff with you guys in the comment section. So don't forget to like, favorite, share, and most importantly, subscribe to HMK for more Kingdom Hearts 3 goodness. We are going in, boys. Until the next one, I've been HMK, and I'll check you guys later.
So you haven't subscribed to HMK yet? Don't piss Xemnas off.